Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tony the Mole Adams YouTube channel. A lot of support for our last video. If you missed it, it was about a player who's unwanted at his club because of his defensive frailties. He's with me from the Gold Coast now, Tony Adams. You going to tell us who it is?
No. But I will tell you, I've come up here, Steve, in tribute to the Titans. They had such a good win. I thought I'd put some money into the local economy.
So you should. So you should. Great, great part of the world. It's actually quite here in London. Very rarely compared to the Gold Coast, but it's a really nice day. Really nice day outside today. You can see the sunlight streaming in the window. Okay, so you got quite a scoop at the weekend about some. Am I right in saying some homophobic abuse directed at a match official? Is that correct?
Well, there's a bit of controversy over exactly what was said. I've been told by a journalist who knows the gentleman concerned that what he said was not homophobic. He says, yes, I did abuse the referee, but I didn't do it in a homophobic way. But it's all been referred to the NRL Integrity Unit. Basically, he was tossed out at half time, and it's a double blow to him, not only being tossed out, but he's obviously a Dragons fan at Kogarah and calling the ref all sorts of names, and missed the Dragons' first and probably best win of the year over the Melbourne Storm. So he'd be kicking himself twice.
Yeah, let's skip ahead to one of your other items, Tony, because it ties in with that. And that's the background of the Dragons' win over the Storm. I was going to mention that a bit later, ask you about that a bit later, but it's something they did on the bye weekend that kind of laid the foundations for that upset.
Yeah, that's right. Well, they started the season poorly with a couple of losses, and then came the bye. And I guess they could have gone one or two ways. They could have gone off and played golf or gone to Fiji, but instead they really knuckled down. And they also had a truth session where the players sat themselves down, and apparently was one of those holds barred sessions where they really let rip into each other, saying exactly what was wrong. Obviously, Clint Gutherson, I heard talking about it, and he being a guy who calls a spade a shovel, and he was brought there as a leader. And I think he did his job clearly in that team talk, because the Dragons were a very different team, particularly in that second half where the game was there to be won and lost. And I think everyone thought it would be lost, knowing the Storm's record. But great win by the Dragons, and who knows, might turn around their season.
Now, one of your predictions about how they were going to fit Jai Gray and also Latrell Mitchell into the south side, with Latrell Mitchell back from injury this weekend. That prediction's come true as we record this, because the South's team is out, and they're both in the side, Tony.
Yeah, that's right. Well, the day before I wrote that Wayne Bennett, he's been coaching since the 70s, and this is probably one of his toughest decisions. Latrell is, an icon of the game, really, and one of the elite players, and he's made no secret of the fact he wants to play fullback. Wayne said all along that he would be playing fullback, but I said you just cannot move Jai Gray. He's the leader of the Dally M's. He was outstanding in the win over Penrith. I said if Wayne Bennett moves him, it could destabilise the team. And I'm not suggesting for a minute that Wayne read my column and decided that, oh yeah, that's a good move. But basically, it's just common sense. I mean, a kid who's playing the house down and leading the Dally M's, as I said, you leave him where he is, particularly when Latrell can play centre, and some people think it's his best position. So be very interesting to see how South play this weekend with both of them in the team. Particularly, it's against the Roosters, their age-old rivals.
I know Wayne watches this channel. Hello, Wayne. How's it going, mate? And I heard Jai Gray actually on the radio say that Latrell Mitchell's actually been his mentor, not just at training, but even on game day. Latrell Mitchell will ask him a few questions to make sure he's ready. So I just wonder whether Latrell will concentrate on his own game or whether he'll continue in this role of Jai Gray's mentor. But I'm looking forward to seeing them both together in the same team this weekend. One lot of supporters who maybe are getting to the point where they might dread the coming weekend are Roosters fans. you've got an item in your column about the Roosters, about just what a long winter it might be for them.
Yeah, well, anyone who watched them play, well, really over the first month, apart from their one win, which was a splendid performance, the other three games they've been terrible, and last weekend they were awful. The thing about it, the Roosters, is I don't think anyone's all that surprised that they're 1-3. To me, they're a bottom four team. They lost all these good players: Jared Wirra-Hargraves, Joey Manu, Sweli, a bunch more who I cannot remember because it's too late at night here on the coast. But and they brought Chad Townsend, lovely fellow, but Chad's not the answer to their problems. Let's face it, and that's why I guess it's no secret. What I wrote 2 weeks ago and got poo-pooed over by a lot of people, that the Roosters were interested in Daly Cherry Evans. Well, I think we can see why now. They definitely need some direction. They need some experience because at the moment it's just not happening. And I really can't see them turning it around. I think they're going to struggle the whole year. And the fact they've got a fair few injuries doesn't help either.
Now, Tony, you do a team of the week, and you mentioned Jai Gray earlier. He was in your team of the week. Another fella who had a go over here with Hull, who are having a good season now, but is Jake Clifford. Now, I guess when he went back, he was probably down the pecking order a little bit, but you've been impressed with him, and throw in Bronson Cherry as well, who was fantastic in that game at Shark Park, and who you reckon might be a bolter for the Blues. He's a New
Yeah,
South
that's right.
Welshman,
Well,
isn't he? Yeah.
the interesting thing about Jake Clifford, he started the year in Queensland Cup, so clearly Todd Payton didn't think he was the answer. He played the first two games there. Last week he played against the Broncos, played fair, but they were well and truly beaten. But he turned match winner, scored two great solo tries, and could not be denied a place in the team of the week. And Bronson Cherry, yeah, look, he's just been on fire ever since he's come back from his drug suspension. I think people thought it would take him quite a while, if at all, to be able to come back to the level he was at, being out of the game for 4 years. It's a long time, and he's playing sensational football. Was dynamic in the upset win over the Sharks. And while we're on the Bulldogs, Steve, I should point out you probably haven't seen, but I know in a lot of sports, and it's one thing we don't do in rugby league. There's a coach of the month or a manager of the month. Well, Moley's got his own coach of the month, and it's an easy choice this month, Cameron Ciraldo. And what Cameron wins for this prestigious award is a mole mug, which is quite priceless. And I'm sure he'll be drinking his coffee out of it tomorrow.
Before we do the end of episode plugs, Payne Haas, a bit of speculation the last few hours about him switching to Samoa for the. I guess if he does it at the end of the year, it's also for the World Cup next year. Benny Gardner has been quite. I think he's been quite smart with um, obviously some of these countries outside Australia, England, and New Zealand, you might even say including England, they've got a good starting 13, but below that level it drops away a bit. And Ben Gardner's been very clever and strategic in building up his depth. And all the players who came over here last year, there are a lot of first string guys missing. But I think if they get Payne Haas for the Pacific Championships and then also for World Cup next year, I think they're building up to do something really special there after making the final last time.
Yeah, and look, the way Payne Haas is, head and shoulders above just about every prop in the competition, it would be a massive boost for Samoa. So much so, you'd almost tip them against most countries. Australia, I don't know, but certainly the Kiwis, England. So
Mm.
they'd be right up there the way he's playing. He's just basically unstoppable.
I heard Ben Hunt say that he's still getting used to playing with Payne Haas. He says when Payne Haas hits the defensive line, he's getting ready for the next play, and then he looks up and Payne Haas has scattered five defenders are still going. So he said it takes a while to get used to playing behind him. Okay, the normal plug, Magic Round in Brisbane. You want some merch? On the screen is the website. That's where you find what's available. And then next on the screen is going to be the email address. Send us an email. Tony, enjoy your holiday on the Gold Coast. What are your plans?
I'm looking for players for the Titans, Steve. This is a work trip if the tax man's listening. And the other plug, of course, subscribe, everyone. It's free. Just hit the little button and help us out.
Yeah, it's awesome. The channel's going great, and we're going to add things in the weeks and months ahead. So enjoy your holiday, Tony.
Thanks, Steve.